Welcome to Go Get Great, the podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs and ambitious small business owners. I'm your host, Brittany, owner of Brittany Miller Socials and mother of 3. Go Get Great is all about helping you make life and business work together. You'll learn about the fumbles that helped get me and my guests to where we are today so you don't have to make them. So come join the journey with Go Get Great. Good morning. I am excited about today's topic, so I put it up in my stories for you guys to vote on, and I asked what it was that you were most interested in hearing me talk about, and it came back as a tie at first, and then I had a couple more people weigh in, and today's topic is going to be all about my morning routine and how I set myself up for success. So first thing I want to say is if you're listening to this right when it gets released, I'm still sleeping. So the key thing that I want everyone to know is that a morning routine does not have to start at 3:00 in the morning. I feel like that was one of the big things for me. Everyone's like, oh, have a morning routine, read the 5 a.m. club and like all of these other things. And at the time I was like, I'm not a morning person. I don't want to be up before the sun is up. That's just not happening. And you can still have a morning routine even if you're not getting up before the sun rises. So that's my first piece of advice. That being said, I want to give you a little bit of background of kind of how I got to where I am today. So you know that I'm not just like talking out of my butt, or just like talking nuts. I have been working on my morning routine on and off for about 3 years now. So I've played around with some different things, found some things worked, found some things didn't, and really kind of am getting closer to having a really honed in routine. So also want to note that, you know, my morning routine may not be perfect. And I feel like the reason for that is that everyone's life changes and is in flux a lot. And your morning routine kind of has to go with the flow and change with you. So things that I found worked for me, you know, a year ago are not things that are in my routine presently. So, you know, don't set something and then find out 6 months from now that it's not working and stick to it because you feel like that that's the best thing possible. You need to adjust as you go and kind of continue improving and evolving it. So I started 3 years ago. I was living at my parents' house and I was just having a really hard time. I felt like I had nothing that was my own. I had 2 of my kids at that point. So I had Talia and Rhea. And I woke up every morning to my children like climbing in bed or screaming. And then the day got started and it was like breakfast and it was just bang, 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 everything. And then, they weren't great sleepers at the time. We hadn't done sleep training with them. So they would fall asleep at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I would crawl in bed myself and go to sleep, wash, rinse, and repeat. So I really didn't have anything that was my own. I had no sense of self, no time to myself. And I was just feeling really frustrated and really drained. So I started working with a friend of mine, and she is a life coach with her business is Harmonious Emerald Beings. So we were connecting, and I was actually helping her finish her credits to had to do some practical experience. So I kind of just went into it. I was just going to help a friend out and I wasn't really expecting a lot. But one of the things that kind of came up in one of our first few sessions is this feeling of I have nothing that is my own. I have no time to myself. And one of the things she recommended is putting a morning routine in place for me. So we talked a lot about, how to build the habits of a morning routine and like what would make sense for me. So without giving away all of her, life coaching secrets, the one thing that she did say that I really want to pass on to is to start small. Start doing something, that's maybe not even really related to your morning routine. Could be, get up every morning and while you're waiting for the coffee to boil, just look around and find one thing you can see, one thing you can taste, one thing you can touch, and one thing you can smell to just kind of bring awareness and presence to yourself in the moment that you're in. And for me, that was kind of the big thing because anytime I had tried to do things for myself in the morning, I was like an all or nothing kind of person at that point in time. It was, I'm going to do a workout and I'm going to have a shower and I'm going to, do my hair and makeup and I'm going to, I would say do a load of laundry, but, 3 years ago when I was starting this, laundry wasn't on my radar, and do all this like reading and things like that for myself. And it was just too big of a beast to tackle. I couldn't go from doing absolutely nothing for myself to, having an hour or two of time to get all of this done. So I felt very frustrated. And I went into the thing going, okay, Cheyenne, sure, like I'll try this. But I don't think this is going to work for me. I've done it before and it didn't pan out. So her having me start creating the habit of making time for myself in the morning by, doing that sense of awareness or like stretching for a minute while I'm waiting for my toast to pop. Some of those smaller habits that we actually started my morning routine with was really what helped me get in the habit of doing it. And then I was able to kind of keep building and expanding on my routine as I went. So my morning routine 3 years ago started with, like 2 or 3 minutes to myself doing some of those things. And then as I got better at those and I was able to make more time for myself, then I was able to add some of the other pieces that I'm going to talk about later. So it is an evolution. I don't just magically get up one morning and have 3 hours of time to myself. I still don't have 3 hours of time to myself in the morning. But that was how I got started with it. And kind of since then, I have been just building on it and progressing on it. And there are certain times too where I haven't been doing a morning routine. So after I had Rhett, I kind of stepped away from that a little bit. And I was okay with that. And now that we're getting into a little bit more of a habit and a routine with him and he's starting to sleep longer at night, I am able to kind of bring that time back into my schedule during the day. So again, it evolves and it changed, and that's okay. So right now, my morning routine is not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, I am very comfy and warm in bed sleeping right now if you're listening to this. But it usually starts around 7. Usually get up at like 7, 7:30 at the latest at the moment. Um, I am a morning person, actually. When I started this 3 years ago, I didn't think that I was, and I didn't like getting up early. But then as I kept kind of growing and progressing, I realized that I actually really enjoyed getting up like an hour or an hour and a half before the kids got up. And it felt really good for me to have that time for myself, do a workout and have a shower and get dressed in the morning, maybe put a load of laundry in and then do like a small work project for the day and have got some of that stuff under my belt. Because then by the time my kids got awake, I felt ready and like focused for the day. Um, because I had some of those things done and I didn't wake up feeling immediately stressed that there were 3 children that needed, breakfast and like pumping and, clothes getting on and all of that stuff when I hadn't had a chance to take care of myself at all. So I find that that really centers me. So at the moment, I'm not waking up before the kids, but that's something that I'm going to be working on in the next month or so, getting back into that habit of getting up before them because I am a much better mom when I have that time for myself in the morning. And yes, it does require me to get up a little bit earlier, but bonus right now, it's almost summertime. So the sun is up, at least now when I get up. Like I said earlier, I didn't like getting up before the sun. I still don't really. I like it to be light out. So it will start to be light out at 5:36 in the morning, which will make it easier for me to get my bed. Well, currently, my morning routine starts at about 7:30 in the morning. When I am getting up before the kids, then usually I start around 5:30, and that's kind of when my alarm goes off. So I get up in the morning, and then usually the first thing that I'll do is ignore my phone. So I try not to look at my phone unless absolutely necessary until after I've got at least a large chunk of my morning routine done, if not the whole thing. So depending on the day, if I'm feeling really groggy, I might sit in bed for a minute and then I tackle kind of one of the first like writing and reflection exercises that I do. And then if I'm feeling pretty awake, I'll usually just hop right into my workout clothes and then I'll head downstairs and I'll do my workout. So for those of you that follow me on my business page and also my personal page, you'll know that I'm a body partner. So I help women with their health and fitness and to build these healthy habits that I have now instilled in myself and kind of help them feel more centered and more grounded as a mom. So, this isn't a sales pitch for that, but I wanted to explain what it is that I do for my workouts in the morning. So I log in, I do it on my app or on the computer, whatever is available for me at that point in time. And then I pick what kind of movement I'm feeling that morning. So sometimes I'll follow a program. Usually I follow a program so that I'm getting, consistent efforts that, build and actually help develop whatever it is that I'm working on. So a lot of them are like cardio or HIIT workouts. I enjoy some of those ones because they're really quick. It's not like, I'm running for 30 minutes. being said, I was looking into a running program this morning. I'd like to get back into doing that. I have a 5K run on my bucket list, and I feel like I need to get that checked off sooner rather than later. Um, I digress. So I'll log in and pick what kind of workout that I want to do. Like I said, usually cardio or hit style workouts are some of my go-to, but there's also dance programs, which I really enjoy. There's weightlifting programs in there, pre and postnatal classes. They also have meditation and yoga, Pilates. There's so many different options, which is why I really love it. And, for me as a mom, it's not realistic for me to be able to go to a gym every day to get that kind of movement in. And I am not a be outside in the cold or hot weather kind of person. So outdoor workouts for me really only work in like the spring and the fall when it's like moderate temperature. So I like the ability to do a workout at home, in my basement on my own schedule. If I need to hit pause, I can. It's not like I'm running out of a class, although, if I was taking a fitness class, my kids wouldn't be with me, so I probably wouldn't need to. But with kids at home, the pause button is your friend for these kinds of things. So I usually try and pick a 20-minute workout, maybe 30 minutes tops. I really don't like going over 30 minutes. That's kind of my limit. So I'll pick a workout, I'll get that done, and then I spend a couple minutes after that just like stretching if there isn't a stretch at the end of the program, but usually there is. So I'll stretch for a few minutes, and then if it's getting close to the time where the kids wake up, sometimes I'll stay downstairs and stay sweaty. A little bit uncomfortable with that, but sometimes I'll stay sweaty and I'll do some of like my writing and my reflecting. And then other times I'll go back upstairs and have a shower. So really whatever I'm in the mood for that day. So it's not like this is a hard and fast order. These are the general things that I like to get done in my morning routine. This is how I feel centered and grounded. But the order in which they happen can be flexible depending on the day and the mood I'm in. So that's really what's important to me, the flexibility of it. I don't want something that's super, super rigid. Sorry. I don't want something that's super, super rigid because then it doesn't feel enjoyable. It takes the fun out of it. I want something that is, kind of a reflection of me. And I am very much a kind of fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. In that sense, I'll wake up one day and I'll be like, this is on my to-do list. This is what I want to do today. So this is what's happening. So I'm kind of that way with my morning routine as well. Okay, so let's talk about some of the internal reflecting and things like that. So usually the first thing that I start with, and if you guys want to, if you're listening to this, I'm going to start recording video for some of my podcasts. So I am actually recording the video for this. It will go up on YouTube at some point in time when I figure out how to edit stuff. So I'm going to show you some of the books that I'm using. You just won't be able to see them in the audio, obviously. So this one is called Good Day Start with Gratitude Journal, Cultivate an Attitude of Gratitude. So within this, it just gives me a space to write down the 3 things that I'm grateful for. So it checks the date and then the 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then it gives you like a little quote for the week. So I really like this because it helps me focus on finding the positive in life, even when I feel like I have a really bad day, to really sit down and think about, a day, it might be a bad day, but the whole day was not bad. There were elements of it that were good, and picking those out have really helped me kind of focus on the good in life and the good in the world. And it's made a huge difference in my mental health and mindset. I was actually talking to my business coach and my therapist about this in a few of our recent sessions, and kind of doing some of this internal reflecting and this gratitude work has made a really big difference for me. It's actually one of the reasons why Grayson and I are back together. I realized that be grateful for all the things he does for me and not nitpick on the things that he didn't when we were in a relationship. So that's helped us get back together. So, for example, I'm actually recording this today. It's Mother's Day. I know it's not going to go live today, but that's when I'm recording it. So I wrote down the 3 things that I'm grateful for. So today I was grateful for a relaxing and easy morning on Mother's Day. The girls weren't running around and screaming. We just kind of chilled this morning, which was really nice. And then I got to listen and, dance around while I was doing some of the housework. So it's not a no housework day for me today, Grayson. While you're editing this, that's okay. And, I knew it wasn't, but I was still trying to make some time for myself to celebrate the Mother's Day holiday. So I got to do that uninterrupted. I feel like as a mom, as soon as you become a mom, headphones might as well just get tossed in the garbage because there's very few rare times where you can have headphones in when your kids are around because you have to constantly be listening. It's either fighting or they've fallen and hurt themselves and they need kisses on their boo-boos now. So like I really don't get to kind of, tune out very much. So his family was over for Mother's Day dinner tonight. So I put my headphones in and I was bopping around, putting some laundry away and doing some of my meal prep today. That's Sunday. And I always do my meal prep on Sunday. So it was nice to be able to kind of do that. And, it really helps me focus and it's an enjoyable experience. So it took, those kind of mundane household activities and it brought some life back into it. It was also a bit of, a cardio workout. Depending on the song, there's a lot of bopping involved. And I actually did a workout for myself today too. So I'm sure I will be feeling it tomorrow, but that's okay. And then the third thing that I'm thankful for, excuse me, the third thing that I'm thankful for, no, my voice still sounds getting over a wicked cold right now. The third thing that I'm thankful for is that I set aside some time to plan a fun project that I have going on. So I guess I'll share it. Why not? I might tell Grayson to edit this out later. But so I'm working on a fun project and I'm actually planning a mastermind. I'm excited. I've never done something like this before, but it's something that I really wanted for my business. I feel like I need a few kind of key people to give me input and I like to share my knowledge and help other businesses grow too. So it just felt really aligned to do this. So I'm putting together, it's going to be a group of 6 women and we're going to meet once a month for 2 hours for 6 months and we're going to kind of help each other focus on growing our businesses. So I'm super pumped for that. I haven't figured out how I'm going to kind of recruit people for this. So if you're listening and you're interested, then send me a DM because we are looking for a couple more people to join us and we'll be starting in June. Yeah. So it was really I want to say energetic, but I don't think that's the right word. Energizing. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. It was really energizing to be able to spend some time working on some of these projects for myself today. I try not to work too much on weekends. That's one of my big things. And I will still do my morning routine on the weekend, but I don't focus on a lot of work stuff unless it's like a fun work project that I want to do. So that was my fun work project for today. That was how I chose to use some of my me time on Mother's Day. So once I have my gratitude done for the day, usually I will spend some time reading. So this week, for the last few weeks, I've been reading the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. So this is actually a bit more of a personal development that I'm reading, but I'll read a lot of different books. They usually go through about one and a bit each month. So you guys hear me talk about some of this stuff on social media sometimes. I've read books like The Energy Bus. I read that last year. I read one by Marie Forleo. That one called um, Everything is Figureoutable. Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. I read that one. Some of the ones that I've read more recently, I read How Are You Really by Jenna Kutcher. That was a good one. But they all focus on usually like a topic that I'm interested in. So like leadership or productivity, time management, instilling habits. I read You Are a Badass. I think that one by Jen Sincero. And then she had a second one, Badass Habits. I read that one recently. But anyway, so I read different books all the time to help me really grow personally and professionally. A lot of this stuff I'll use in my business as well. But I like to know that growth is really important for me. And I like to know that every day I do at least a little bit of learning and growing for myself and my business. So I usually set aside 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes to sit down and read half a chapter to a chapter of a book, depending on how long the chapters are. So that's usually what I tackle next. Some of the writing and things like that are easier to do later when the kids are up, but it's hard for me to focus on the words that I'm reading when the girls are awake. So I try and get the reading done in the morning while they're still sleeping. So after I do that, then I pull out, you'll notice I have a lot of books for this process because I have not found one that does everything that I want it to. So I pull out another notebook. I usually just grab one from the dollar store. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy for what I'm doing here. But if you want something, a lot of what I've taken out of this actually comes from, I think they're called bullet journals. A bullet journal from Mel Robbins. So she wrote The 5 Second Rule and The High Five Habit, both of which I've read. Very good books. Highly recommend those two. And there's a journal that goes along with the High Five Habit one. I forget what the journal is called, but I'll link it in the show notes for you. So I purchased that journal and I used it for a while and I liked a lot of it. I keep buying it. So I just got a plain notebook from the dollar store. And this is kind of what I do. So I'll share the outline of my morning journaling. And this is kind of like my reflecting time. So I put a word or like a short phrase around how I'm feeling. So I feel, and then insert the feeling so that I can be aware of how I am in the current mood. And then I think about, this is one of her things from her journal. So I deserve a high five because, and then I write down a reason why. And it's really nice to be your own cheerleader. That's kind of the whole purpose of the book. And I think I did a post about this recently, talking about, giving yourself a high five in the mirror every morning. So entries, you guys, real world examples of yesterday I wrote that I deserve a high five for contributing to the yard work and maintenance. Yeah, so we were outside working in the backyard this weekend and I actually went out and helped. Usually doing yard work is not something that I enjoy. I don't mind like doing meal planning and grocery shopping and the organizing and things like that. And I'll even help with some of the cleaning too, but yard work is not my jam. I do not want to have to deal with flower beds and pulling weeds. I just don't get it. It's just beyond my skill level to figure out how things all look together. I would much rather, outsource some of that stuff. So then after I write down what I deserve a high five for, then I do a brain dump. So, some days my brain dump is just like a couple bullet points. Today it was like a page and a half. I had a lot on my mind this morning. So things like, happy Mother's Day to me, or I really need to start setting better boundaries for myself and for my clients. What else is in here? I feel really aligned with the projects that I have on my plate currently, and I'm really excited to action some of them. And some of the things are like reminders, like I should do a workout today, or make sure you get your veggies in today because you didn't yesterday. My mind is very active today. I have lots of thoughts. I literally wrote that down because you know what? It crossed my mind as I was writing this. So just literally getting all these things out there. And like I just flipped to yesterday. So yesterday it was like I need to book a session with Allie and I should paint my nails and I need to talk to mom about something that we have going on. And oh yeah, I have raspberries and flowers sitting beside my house that I was very appreciatively gifted that I need to get into a flower bed before they die. And just like a couple people that I need to message. So just whatever is running around through my brain in the morning, I will write down reminders to myself of things that I need to do, things that I'm feeling, anything like that. So once I get that brain dump done, anything that needs to go into my planner, I'll put in my planner before I forget. I'll show you that in a second. And then I focus on writing down 5 things I have. So I believe I've talked with me about some of this in one of my previous podcasts. If not, this was definitely a conversation we had off the record. But when you're manifesting, you write in present tense. So you're like visualizing what it is that you're doing. So I write down 5 things that I have. In actuality, 5 things that I want to have. In this case, we're writing in present tense. So 5 things I have. So today I was writing down, I attract and receive money easily and effortlessly. I really, really struggle with accepting money from people, even though, I do good work and my clients love what I'm doing for them. But I don't know, there's just something that feels really icky about getting paid to do it. It's a whole internal roadblock and I'm working on moving through it. So, saying this is actually one of my affirmations too, but I write it down in my book to help me manifest it as well. So I attract and receive money easily and effortlessly. The other thing I wrote down today was I'm looking for an excited and active team of go-getters to mentor in my body partnership. I also wrote down that I want the energy to tackle my to-do list and action my goals and dreams. I wake up very tired some nights if Rhett a lot. And you know what? Sometimes it's not even Rhett. Sometimes it's Talia and Rhea. So just really getting a good night's sleep is something that I would like to make myself on a consistent basis. I also wrote down an abundance of time to spend with my children, my family, and Gray, an abundance of time to spend on the projects that bring me joy. And I actually wrote down 2 extra things today. So I wrote down 7 instead of 5. But I also said that I want the freedom to travel and explore as a family. So I'd really like to start booking, some more day trips and some family outings and events. So that's something that I'm manifesting right now. And then a backyard oasis to relax and entertain in. I'm going to manifest that all the yard work is done. I should probably have put down that I don't want to do it too, but for now we'll just manifest the oasis. But like I am very much an outside person when the weather is an agreeable temperature. If you saw my stories on Instagram last week, I think it was, about the grass that was like 4 feet tall because we hadn't cut it yet this summer. That's what my backyard looks like. It about sums it up. So I want to show you my planner next. So this is called a Sly Fox planner, and this is usually where I go after I've done my gratitude and my journaling and my reading. So I take a look at some of what my day looks like. So I'm going to show you a couple other pieces of the planner just in case you're curious about what's in it. So it has some sections at the front for, your gratitude and self-awareness is what it's called. So it writes down things that you're grateful for. What are you passionate about? What are some of the skills that you want to learn? Your affirmations. So I look at this page a lot and I I say my affirmations. This is a habit that I am working to implement and I'm not always very good at it. So why not? Let's do my affirmations on here since, we're talking about my morning routine and this is part of my morning routine. So I am doing fantastic. I'm safe and the universe protects me. I'm loved and I love me. I'm happy. I'm beautiful. I'm an amazing mom. I'm a strong person. Thoughts are positive. I can achieve anything I put my mind to. My body is healthy and I fuel it accordingly. Our family thrives on a single income via residual opportunities. I know that anything that comes to me is aligned with my highest good. I have lots of value to provide to my clients. I naturally and effortlessly attract aligned clients. I live in financial abundance and prosperity. Money comes to me easily, freely, and continuously. Money is always there for me, and time is abundant. So, those are some of the things that I'm affirming right now for myself. There's also sections for a vision board if you want to put it in here. So, I have a very large vision board. You've probably seen it pop up in my stories a couple times, but I'll try and take a picture and see if we can include that in here somewhere. Maybe I can link it in my show notes or something. What my vision board looks like back into the planner. Also a section for goals. And then it gives you like your focus areas. And then there's like mind maps and then dives into like your calendar, your monthly calendar layout. And then you go into like your weekly layout mode. So this is getting set up. I'll write down like what my goals are for this week and what my reward is for achieving my goal. I like that so that I'm reminding myself to stop and do things for me. It talks about my priorities, my work to-do list, my personal to-do list. There's a section for habits and skills, and then a life balance to-do list. So again, reminding me that I need to focus on more than just my business. And then it breaks it down for the day. Each day you choose a goal, your top 3 priorities. You break down your appointments by hour. I also do my time blocking in here. And then there's like a to-do list at the bottom. And then at the end of the day, you rate your productivity. So once I do everything else, I'll take a look and see, what meetings I have for the day, and then I'll pick my main goal. So once I've got my planner set, that usually wraps up my morning routine, quote unquote. If I haven't showered yet, then I'll go upstairs and I'll have a shower after my workout, and then I'll like get ready for the day. And while some of this is happening, like I said, the kids are usually sleeping. And then once the kids get up, Grayson's usually home from work at that point. He gets home at about 20:07. So he'll work on making breakfast. I can kind of do my morning routine centered, depending on how long that takes. Sometimes I'll try and tackle like a quick household project and get one of my top priorities off the list, or I'll spend some time in the morning working on my main goal. One of the things that I've really found for myself is that my clarity and my decisiveness is higher in the morning. So if I have a lot of like really big decisions that I need to make, or I have some logistical things that I need to work through, I try and do them first thing in the morning because that's when I can get results from those kind of activities. So I'll do that. And Grayson goes to bed, and then I start my day. So that's pretty much the end of my routine. Just summary here. So workout, gratitude journal, bullet journal, reading, and then planner. So those are kind of and then getting dressed for the. So I guess there's 6 things that I try and do in the morning, and anything else that I get done is just like above and beyond amazing as a way to start my day. One thing that I did want to share with you is not something that's currently part of my morning routine, but is something that was part of my routine and I liked it for a while. So it might be something that works for you, and I want to share that. So what it is I didn't have a vision board at this time, which is probably why I was using it more, but I had written down what it was that I wanted to do. So basically, it was like a written manifestation of the life that I wanted to lead, and it was thinking about kids I had and the house that I wanted to that I am living in, future tense here, that I'm living in, and like what my life looks like so that it can help me really see and step into that person that I am going to be. So I had written that all down, and then because it's sometimes longer to read and it's easier to listen, I actually recorded myself reading it in present tense, and I would listen to that with my headphones in the morning. So that's another option too. I've heard of that activity. I actually got as an idea from Micah Folsom. She's a body partner as well, and she has a podcast, Micah Folsom Fit. So I was listening to that, and that was one of the things that she was talking about. And I did that for a while, but then things have to be changed and adjusted the same way you'd like edit and add and take things off your vision board. You need to do that too. And I just hadn't had time to kind of sit through and make those changes and then re-record it. So I stopped doing that a little while ago. But it was a really helpful exercise to hear my own voice talking about the life that I'm leading. It was very motivational and very encouraging. I've also heard in her podcast, she suggested that if you have older children, mine would be this, but if you had older children, to have them read it for you, because I find that kids are a very motivational thing for us. So if your kids are reading it, talking about the life that you're leading and how you have so much time to spend with them, and you're doing activities and you're going on trips, and how happy and things like that they are, that is a really powerful motivational tool as well. So that's another option if you're not into reading and writing. Like, I am a really avid writer. That's why I do my bullet journal and things like that. But you could do, audio like that as well. You could like do movement as a way to do it. Lots of people will meditate in their morning routine too. I didn't find that worked very well for me because it made my morning routine longer. Like, as it is, this probably takes about 2 hours to get through. I read a lot more than a lot of people do in their morning routine. And again, a 30-minute workout kind of eats through like a quarter of that. By the time you like shower and get dressed, you're at an hour or more right there. And by the time you read a little bit, do some writing, eat breakfast, there's another hour. So it seems like a lot of time, like, wow, you get 2 hours to yourself every day. And it was like, yes, technically speaking, I do. Some days I get through all of this and it's 9 o'clock and Grayson goes downstairs, and then I hang out with the kids and I start working, no big deal. And then there are other days where it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm just finishing my morning routine. Maybe one of my journals got put off in the morning because I didn't have time to finish it, or maybe my workout didn't get done first thing because I stayed in bed a little bit longer because I was up late at night with Rhett. So it's not a perfect be all end all system, but that's what I generally try and do each day. It helps me stay focused. It helps me work on my personal development, and it really helps me step into that life that I'm going to lead. So those are all really big things for me. And whoops. Those are all really big things for me, and why I make this a priority for me to do every day, even if I don't get it done by 9 o'clock. So I don't meditate in the morning. Sometimes I'll try and meditate for a little bit in the afternoon while Ray is napping, and I find that that works well. By the time I've done a little bit of work stuff, it's kind of nice to take a little bit of a break and sit down and try and clear my mind. I'm going to say that. I'm going to put it in air quotes, clear my mind, because meditating, when I try and clear my mind, doesn't work. My brain does not have an off switch. That's why some of my brain dumps in my journal in the morning are like a page and a half long, because my brain literally never shuts off. I'm actually surprised I sleep. But I find if I have something that I'm working on or like a roadblock that I'm really stuck with, if I take some time to kind of sit down and focus on that in the afternoon, then I usually find that I have a solution for it by the time I am done my 10-minute meditation. So I'll do a guided meditation on my Body Partner app as well. That's what I do, and I find them really helpful. So I'll sit down kind of with that question in mind, and as they're going through the meditation, I will kind of mull it over, think about the different options or different outcomes. And I find that that helps me kind of break through some of those hurdles. It's usually just a case of taking a step back when I'm trying to make a decision and it's not working. It's because I'm too in the weeds on the project, and taking some time to meditate gives me that step back, that clarity, that open and awareness to the situation to look at it from different angles. So I find that that's really helpful. I used to try and meditate at night too, but then I just fell asleep. So if I'm going to meditate, and I do enjoy it, but I don't do it consistently, I usually do it in the afternoon. Yeah. So that's my morning routine. I hope that you guys learned a little bit and maybe have some takeaways of things that you guys want to try for your morning routine. But I would absolutely love it if you would either leave a comment on the podcast somewhere sharing what your morning routine is currently or something that you want to implement. I'm happy to chat with you guys a little bit more about this, or you can send me, a DM. I hang out on Instagram the most at Brittany Miller Socials. I would really like to chat about some of these things. Or you can check out my personal profile if you're interested in learning more about the workouts that I do. I share more about like the eating habits and my workouts and the meditation and things like that on my personal Instagram as well. So you can find me at run_of_the_millers, MILLES. That's how you can find me personally. If you want to hang out in that corner of my social space too, would love to have you. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening. I should stop saying thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate that you guys are here supporting me and my rambles. And I hope that you're finding something engaging and like, new for you to try. And if you do listen to my podcast, then maybe take a look at my YouTube channel and you can watch me awkwardly talk to a camera for however long I've been talking to a camera. I'm at Brittany Miller Socials on YouTube, so you can find me there. And thanks again. And I hope you guys had an amazing morning. If you're listening to this, maybe listening to podcasts is part of your morning routine. So if it is, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Go Get Great. I hope you found some useful tips and tricks that can help you make life and business work together. If what I said resonates with you, please share it on social media and don't forget to tag at Brittany Miller Socials so that I can celebrate you for taking those first steps towards achieving greatness. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes dedication, hard work, and a lot of spirit. So don't be afraid to dream big and go after what you want. Keep striving for greatness. You get closer with every step forward, no matter how small they may seem. Until next time, go get great.